I died alone in my apartment while Ethan was with the one that got away. My mission failed. The system declared the male lead would lose what he loved most. My soul floated in the air, waiting to watch him regret it for the rest of his life. But the next second, Ethan's bank account was wiped clean. Turns out, the thing he loved most was money. Now this was going to be a show. Today was my 29th birthday, and the last day of my mission. I'd called Ethan a million times, begging him to come home. Ethan just kept shutting me down, annoyed. Julie, can you stop being so selfish? You can celebrate your birthday any year. Mandy is moving today. How's she supposed to manage on her own? I'll be back after I help her. Just be reasonable. After he hung up, I felt my fingertips and my heart grow cold. Against Mandy, I'd lost again. This time, the price was my life. I'd been by Ethan's side for 10 years, watching him go from a broke college kid to a titan of industry. When his startup was struggling, we'd split a single pack of ramen, crammed into a dark, tiny basement apartment, and pulled countless all-nighters together. The day before our engagement party, Mandy came back. Mandy was Ethan's high school sweetheart who'd gone to study abroad his senior year, becoming the untouchable one that got away in his mind. Ethan had laughed it off several times, saying he was long over her. Young love is so clueless. How deep can it really be? Julie, you're the most important person to me. But in reality, he used work as an excuse to postpone our engagement party. Later, for Mandy, he got into a bar fight with some lowlifes, waited in a huge line to buy her the season's first pumpkin spice latte, and ran 13 miles just to trace a heart shape around her neighborhood on a running app. He never said a word about love, but in the name of friendship, he did all the cheesy, dumb things he used to make fun of. I'd lost completely. The system chimed in. Host, you have 2 minutes left. This is it then. I did my best. I tossed my phone aside and closed my eyes. I'd spent 10 years in this world living for one person, Ethan. Dying wasn't such a big loss. The phone lying on the bed suddenly buzzed again. The system said excitedly, Quick look. Maybe Ethan's coming back. I flipped the screen over for a video call. Mandy's face appeared on the caller ID. She stuck her tongue out at me. Julie, I'm so sorry. Moving is just so much work, and I really can't handle it alone. Had to borrow your boyfriend for a bit. In the background, Ethan was on his hands and knees scrubbing the floor, his expensive suit hopelessly wrinkled. He was always so particular about his appearance. I'd spent half an hour ironing that suit this morning just to get it perfectly crisp for him. Apparently, for Mandy, none of that mattered. Ethan stood up to rinse the rag in the bathroom, but not without a careful warning to Mandy. Mandy, just sit there and rest. Don't wander around, the floor is slippery. Be careful not to fall. As soon as Ethan closed the bathroom door, Mandy raised an eyebrow at me. Julie, do you know what the one that got away means? You do his laundry, cook his meals, and network for his company. But the girl he can't forget? She doesn't have to do a thing. All I have to do is stand here, and I've already won. Get it? Everything went black. Damn it. I was literally dying, and the last thing I see is Mandy rubbing my face in it. What a crappy way to go. The system was just as disgusted. Ugh. That witch. Time's up, host. Mission failed. As a penalty, you will die. And the male lead will lose what he loves most. I nodded and lay down calmly on the bed. I know the script. I suffer physically and emotionally, giving everything for Ethan, including my own worthless life. And what about Ethan? He doesn't get off easy either. He'll be devastated, waking up alone every day in his 1,000-square-foot bed, and throwing wild parties in his 20,000-square-foot mansion. He'll be surrounded by beautiful women, one on each arm, but no one will ever touch his heart. He'll live a long, lonely life, perfectly healthy, with billions in the bank, until he's 99. No, 99 isn't enough. Make it 120, because in his endless mourning for me, every day of his life is torture. The longer he suffers, the more satisfying it is for the readers. The system began the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Mission over. I saw my soul float up. A thrill went through me. Ethan, now that I'm dead, you'll regret it, won't you? Men are all the same. They don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. After all I've given you for so many years, I want to see you break down and cry for me. Let's go see how Ethan's doing." In the apartment, Ethan and Mandy were sitting on the couch watching a movie. His phone buzzed. He frowned and glanced at it, annoyed. Mandy pouted. "Ethan, you should go back. I think today is Julie's birthday, right? I'll be fine here. You should go be with her. I can handle things myself." "It's fine. A birthday's not a big deal. Julie never liked celebrating her birthday anyway. She won't care." During the 5 years we were building the company, I never spent money on myself, so I never celebrated my birthday. But for Ethan's birthday, I'd starve for days if I had to, just to buy him a cake and cook a feast to make him happy. I thought all those years of little moments would eventually warm his heart. I never imagined he took it all for granted. I stared at Ethan, stunned. The phone buzzed a few more times. Ethan irritably picked it up, intending to shut it off. But when his eyes skimmed the text message, his pupils dilated. He started breathing heavily, his body trembling uncontrollably. "Your bank card ending in 8888 has transferred $874,502,930.38. Your new balance is $0. I was shocked. In the first few years of the business, Ethan hit the jackpot. The company went public and was worth billions, but he was never a reckless spender. Aside from the essentials, a house, a car, he lived pretty modestly. He'd even nag me for a long time if I bought a designer bag. How could there suddenly be such a massive expense? What the hell is going on? The system looked at me like it was the most obvious thing in the world. He loses what he loves most. You didn't really think you were the love, did you? Where's your brain? He didn't love you when you were alive, so why would he suddenly go crazy for you after you're dead? It's not like he's a necrophiliac. He loves money, and he's never going to have it again." There was a dead silence. I was starting to lose it. "Why are you pulling this crap again? Do you even know how badly the readers flamed you for that last messy dead protagonist story? Don't you have any self-awareness?" The system shot back. "Just tell me you're not excited to see what happens next." To be honest, between a penniless Ethan and an Ethan regretting his lost love, I was definitely more interested in the first option. I suddenly got excited. My eyes went wide, and I floated around Ethan, studying his expression. Ethan took a few deep breaths, unlocked his phone, and started pacing frantically as he called me. "Julie, answer the phone. Pick up." For years, I'd handled all his affairs, big and small. The company's accounts, even his private banking manager, I was the one who dealt with all of it. With money suddenly gone from his account, his first instinct was still to have me fix it. After several unanswered calls, Ethan got desperate. He rushed to the entryway to put on his shoes. "Mandy, I have to go back for a bit." Mandy grabbed his arm, unhappy. "Is Julie mad? I'll go with you. It's my fault for asking for your help. I can apologize to her, okay?" "No, it's company business. You stay here and wait for me." Ethan's voice was urgent. Before Mandy could say another word, he slammed the door and left. On the way, he frantically called the bank's customer service, his voice shaking. "What do you mean I authorized it? That's impossible. No compliance issues? The recipient's account is valid? Impossible. That's impossible. I'm coming down there right now." He sped to my building and sprinted from his car into the elevator. "Julie, open the door." I was dead, so of course I couldn't open it. Ethan glanced at the shoes on the rack by the door and started pounding on it, his face a mask of anxiety. "Julie, I know you're in there. What's with the attitude? Open this door." "Still not opening it?" "Fine, I'm leaving. Don't you dare regret this." This was Ethan's favorite trick to use on me. Whenever we fought, no matter who was wrong, I was always the one to give in. Back in college, Ethan was busy with his startup, so I wrote his senior thesis for him. I spent months on it, but after I gave him the USB drive, he carelessly lost it. That was the first time I ever got truly angry with him. We were so poor we didn't even own a computer. I'd written the whole thing on the public computers at the library, and there was no backup. Ethan just gave me that same cold look. "Don't worry about it. I'll write it myself. I'm just a burden to you, right? Fine, I'll go. Don't you regret it?" Without hesitating, he turned and walked away. His thin, lonely back, a mix of stubborn pride and wounded feelings. It made my heart melt instantly. He looked just like that the first time I met him. I'd run into some thugs off campus, and Ethan had jumped in to protect me. Back then, the system hadn't announced my target yet, so I was wary and kept my distance from all guys. I told Ethan to mind his own business. Ethan wiped the blood from his nose and scoffed. "Who's worried about you? I just didn't like the look of them." He picked up his backpack from the ground and turned to leave. In the narrow alley, the setting sun cast his shadow long behind him. I wasn't sure what I felt then, but I remember the unstoppable, spreading joy in my heart when the system announced he was my target. I could never be cruel to a back like that. I ran after Ethan and humbly coaxed him. From then on, every time we fought, he used that trick to control me. This time was no different. After yelling, Ethan went quiet for a moment, waiting for me to open the door. After a while, the door remained motionless. Ethan let out a frustrated growl and slammed his fist against it. "Julie, you've really grown a spine, haven't you? You just wait." I kept a spare key at the office. Ethan remembered and was about to call his assistant, Joe, to bring it over. But when he opened his phone, the screen was flashing with an incoming call from Mandy. Ethan rubbed his brow and answered. "Mandy, hang on. I'm in the middle of something." "Ethan, it hurts so much." Mandy started crying. "I fell. You have to come help me. It hurts and I'm bleeding everywhere." Tisk, is that the only move Mandy knows? I couldn't help but roll my eyes. How many times had she pulled this? Whenever Ethan was with me, she'd call with some excuse. Either she'd splash hot oil on herself while cooking, was being followed by a creep on the street, or the power was out and she was scared. She had the self-sufficiency of a 10-year-old, but Ethan always fell for it. Mandy was spoiled growing up. Her family was well off, and her parents doted on her. Not like you, you've been working since high school. You're independent and strong, you can handle anything yourself. But Mandy needs me. Be good, I'll go take care of her and be right back. For Ethan, Mandy's needs always came first. But now Mandy's competition wasn't me, it was money. Could she still win? I watched Ethan expectantly. Sure enough, he took a deep breath and irritably tugged at his tie. "If you fell, call an ambulance." "What good is calling me? I'll come to the hospital to find you after I'm done here. Now stop calling me." He hung up and tried to call Joe. But before he could even find Joe's name in his contacts, Mandy's call came through again. "I'm sorry, Ethan, I shouldn't have bothered you. Julie's birthday is what's important. This little injury of mine is nothing. I can go to the hospital by myself. You should go be with her. I've been abroad for so many years, I should have learned to be on my own by now. It's time for me to let you go too." Mandy's tone was perfect. Sad, dejected, yet trying to be strong. Ethan paused for a few seconds. In the past, he would have dropped everything and rushed to her side. But now, with $800 million on the line, his mind was crystal clear. He decisively hung up, scrolled down his screen, and blocked Mandy's number. Only then did he dial Joe. "Joe, bring me the key from Julie's desk drawer." Joe's voice was panicked. "Mr. Chun, where have you been? You have to come back to the office. We're in big trouble. The SEC is here, they say we cooked the books and they're fining us $2.7 billion. Hearing this, Ethan felt the air leave his lungs. He choked, pounded his chest, and his eyes rolled back. "How much? $2.7 billion? I'm on my way back. Where's Julie? We don't know where Ms. Jiang is. We can't reach her. I'm coming over now. Joe, listen to me. Forget about the office for a minute. Bring the key to the Grandview Apartments, open her door, and tell Julie to get her ass back to the company immediately." Ethan roared into the phone and sped back to the office. Although the company's market cap was higher than that, the announcement of the fine would cause the stock to plummet, triggering a chain reaction. Combined with the money that had mysteriously vanished from his account, this fine would bankrupt the company. Ethan would not only be broke, but he'd also be hundreds of millions in debt. Ethan was so scared his face turned white. His hands on the steering wheel wouldn't obey him, and his teeth were chattering. I had never seen him this panicked. In my memory, he was always calm and collected. Lost the USB drive with the thesis? He just shrugged. "I'll just write another one." What's the rush? Lost his wallet? He didn't care. It wasn't much money anyway. I'll just save up more. During the startup phase, we signed a huge deal, but the client bailed right before delivery. I was so stressed I broke out in cold sores and couldn't sleep for nights, but Ethan remained calm, reassuring me, "It's fine. The goods won't spoil. We'll just find another client." He often teased me for being emotionally unstable and not mentally tough enough. But now I finally understood. I was the one who had to rewrite the thesis. The money in the wallet was money I had saved. I was the one who had to find a new client. Of course he wasn't worried. Turns out, when their own interests are at stake, everyone's the same. By the time Ethan got to the office, the people from the SEC were gone. The penalty notice lay on his desk, the bright red numbers and official seal glaringly conspicuous. Ethan was about to lose his mind. Where is Julie? Wasn't she in charge of the finances? How could such a massive screw-up happen? His secretary timidly approached. "Ms. Jiang hasn't handled that for a while. That financial report, Mr. Chen, you were the one who made the final decision. You told us to report higher profits. You said every other company does it, that it was standard industry practice. After the quarterly report was released, the stock jumped 20 points, and you took Miss Mandy to an auction to buy jewelry to celebrate. That jewelry was expense to the company too. Mr. Chen, don't you remember?" Ethan froze. The idea to cook the books had come from Mandy. She'd studied finance in college and had interned at a few big firms abroad, so she considered herself much more competent than me. "Who's as naive as you guys are? Just fudge the numbers a little, make the profits look better, and the stock price will soar. So many public companies do it. The SEC never checks." After Mandy finished, Ethan nodded with a smile, his eyes full of admiration. "Then let's go with Mandy's idea. Julie, redo this quarter's report." "No. We're a public company. We have a responsibility to our shareholders. We can't do this." I refused flatly. Hearing this, Mandy's eyes immediately reddened. She tugged on Ethan's sleeve, aggrieved. "I was just trying to help the company. Even if Julie doesn't like me, she doesn't have to be like this. Is she really going to cost your company so much money just to spite me?" Ethan took Mandy's side and got into a huge fight with me. I refused to do anything fraudulent, so I said I was taking a leave of absence. Ethan just thought I was threatening him. "Julie, you think way too highly of yourself. The world will keep spinning without you. I know you're jealous that Mandy is more capable and talented than you, but this is my company. You can't use my money to gamble on your petty rivalry with her. If you want a vacation, then go home and lie down. I'll find someone else to replace you." Remembering this, Ethan slammed his hand on the desk, humiliated and furious. "So what? Julie is still the VP of this company. When something like this happens, she has to take responsibility. She must have heard the news and is hiding at home like a coward. Where's Joe? Get in touch with Joe and bring Julie back to the office now. She knows how to fix this. There's a 1-week appeal period for these penalties. Tell her to redo the books. She'll have a solution." Ethan paced around the office, calling Joe's number over and over. I joked with the system. "See? He doesn't even realize how important I am to him. For so many years, he's relied on me for everything. Too bad, Ethan. This time, I really can't help you." The system retorted. "Are you insane? You're not still in love with him, are you? How important could you be? If you were so important, how could he not notice you were sick for days? Your face paler than a corpse? So important that he gave Mandy his secondary credit card to max out while being a total cheapskate with you? Did he ever take you to one decent restaurant? He treated you like crap when you were alive, and you think he'll suddenly love you now that you're dead? What kind of twisted logic is that? You tragic heroines are all completely nuts." I wanted to argue back indignantly, but the thought of Ethan's vanished money shut me up. He'd lost what he loved most, and what he loved most really wasn't me. Ethan grew impatient waiting for me and dialed Joe dozens of times. Finally, the call connected, and Joe's choked-up voice came from the other end. "Mr. Chen, Ms. Jiang, she's gone." "What do you mean?" "Not at home. Where else could she be?" Ethan roared into the phone. "She never goes on vacation. For years, Her life has been a straight line between the office and home. Where else could she possibly go? Ethan had stomach problems and I never trusted him to eat out, so I made him porridge every morning. To take care of him, I rarely left the city. Even if I was out of town for business, if Ethan called, I'd take a red-eye flight back. He was used to having me at his beck and call. Ms. Jiang is dead. I'm at Central Hospital now. The police are here too. They said they're waiting for the medical examiner to perform an autopsy, but it was most likely a heart attack. After Joe finished, Ethan stood perfectly still, his expression unchanged. Mr. Chun, the police said they need to notify the family. Where are Ms. Jiang's relatives? Don't joke with me like that. Julie is as strong as an ox. How could she be dead? She's still throwing a tantrum, isn't she? Trying to force me to come get her? Fine. I'm on my way. Ethan took a deep breath, hung up with a trembling hand, and quickly composed himself. The system taunted. Ouch, ouch, disappointed, are we? Looks like you meant even less to Ethan than I thought. I ignored it, my gaze fixed on Ethan's face. I knew he was terrified. His eyes were red. He fumbled for his car keys, pressing the button several times but unable to make his fingers work. In the end, he had to have someone from the company drive him to the hospital. At the entrance to the emergency room, Joe saw him and rushed over. Mr. Chun, you're finally here. Ethan stood in the hallway, staring at the gurney covered by a white sheet. His pupils dilated and he couldn't move. Is that Julie? Yes. A family member has to sign for the autopsy. Mr. Chun, where is her family? Ethan stood there, lost, for a moment before lunging forward and ripping off the white sheet. This is impossible. Julie, get up. If you're dead, what happens to the company? What happens to me? Where did my money go? Julie, wake up. He went berserk, shaking my body violently. How could you die? What am I supposed to do? Julie! Julie, wake up. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, tears streaming down his face. He held me tight, tried to perform acupressure, and forced my eyelids open. It was a strange feeling to watch this. I'm dead, Ethan, and you don't care about losing me. All you can talk about is money and the company. Am I really that unimportant? The system snorted. What did you expect? We're talking billions. Be honest with yourself. Are you worth that much? Realizing I was truly gone, Ethan completely lost control. He collapsed to the floor, holding me, and started slamming the back of his head against the wall in despair, over and over. You're gone. Who's going to help me solve the company's problems? The company is really going to be ruined. I'm going to be ruined. Julie, wake up. Help me. Just help me one more time. And I promise I'll never make you angry again. Whatever you say, I'll do it. From now on, I'll listen to you, okay? Ethan wept, pounding his chest. That last phone call, I should have come back. Why didn't I come back? If I had come back, you wouldn't have died. Everything could have been saved. I'm a dead man walking. Why didn't I come back? In his complete breakdown, Ethan's vision went black, and he collapsed backward. When he opened his eyes again, Ethan was lying on the large bed in the apartment. Mandy was sitting beside him, her face full of grievance. Ethan, you're finally awake. Julie is something else. She knew you were sick and didn't even come to see you. I called her several times, but she just said. Mandy studied Ethan's face, helped him sit up, and tucked a pillow behind his back. She said she didn't have time for you. That's so awful. Even if she's mad, she can't just ignore your health. Ethan sat up straight, his eyes locked on Mandy. Did Julie say that herself? I almost laughed out loud watching this. After Ethan collapsed yesterday, the doctors diagnosed him with extreme emotional distress and sent him home since the hospital was short on beds. Joe had to call Mandy to take care of him. Between the police, the hospital needing to deal with my body, and the mountain of problems at the office, Joe was running around like a headless chicken and hadn't had a chance to tell Mandy what happened to me. Mandy handed Ethan a glass of water, her expression even more hurt. Yes. And not only that, when I went downstairs to buy you something to eat, the cashier said the card was declined. It's the secondary card you gave me. How could it not work? Julie must have called the bank while you were sick and had the card frozen. Ethan, you know me. I don't care about money. You don't have to fight with her for my sake anymore. Here, you can have the card back. She picked up a black credit card from the nightstand and pressed it into Ethan's hand, her eyes red. Julie really underestimates me. You know, I've never had any concept of money. I'm not like her. She's always been a penny pincher, obsessed with money. She shrugged as if joking. If you ever went broke, she'd probably dump you in a heartbeat. Mandy's family used to be wealthy, but they went bankrupt while she was abroad. After returning to the country, she still put on a high and mighty act in front of Ethan. She even made it seem like Ethan had to beg her to use his card. When I was handling Ethan's accounts, I discovered she had spent over $2 million on his card in a single month. I was furious and had a huge fight with Ethan about it. Ethan had just sneered. My birthday is next month. Mandy is just buying me a present. Julie, can you not be so tacky? Do you think everyone is as obsessed with money as you are? Mandy isn't like that. She's pure and innocent, not materialistic like you. She's the simplest, kindest girl in the world. Don't you dare insult her with your cheap, cynical values. His untouchable dream girl was nothing but a fraud. Ethan looked like he'd been slapped. He stared blankly at the black card in his hand and closed his eyes in pain. Mandy, thinking Ethan was mad at me, scooted closer and tried to cheer him up. Don't be angry, Ethan. I was just kidding. You'll never go bankrupt. The quarterly report was great, wasn't it? The stock price soared. Julie just doesn't get how big companies work since she grew up poor. Don't worry. With me here, the company will only get better and better. Better my ass. Ethan exploded, slapping Mandy hard across the face. You pretentious, conniving bitch. You've ruined me. This is all your fault. He lunged at her, pinning her to the ground and slapping her face wildly. How could I have ever believed your bullshit? Cook the books? I'll cook your damn books. Mandy was dizzy from the blows, her face swelling up like a balloon. She struggled in terror, trying to push Ethan off. You're crazy. Ethan, what are you doing? What am I doing? Aren't you some financial genius? Don't you read the news? Didn't you fucking see that our company was fined $2.7 billion by the SEC? $2.7 billion. It's over. Everything is over. I'm going bankrupt. The money from my account must have been seized by the bank ahead of time. Yes, that must be it. As he hit her, Ethan's mind started to clear. He'd seen plenty of companies go under. After a company went bankrupt, the owner would be blacklisted, but if they had transferred their assets in advance, they could still live a decent life, even without being able to fly or take high-speed trains. All of his assets were surely frozen by now. It was too late to move them. But Mandy still had money. Where's the money I gave you? The jewelry I bought you? Give it all to me. Ethan threw Mandy aside and rushed to the vanity, yanking open her drawers. Mandy was stunned. She lay on the floor for a moment before she could process what was happening. Pushing herself up, the first thing she did wasn't to stop Ethan, but to grab her phone and look up news about the company. She had no idea. A quick search left her horrified. In the 2 days Ethan had been unconscious, after the SEC's announcement, the company's stock had tanked. All their partners had terminated their contracts, and many were rushing to sue the company. The sooner they filed, the higher up they'd be in the line for liquidation. It had come to this. Ethan was finished. There was no coming back. Mandy couldn't accept it. After her family went bankrupt, her parents were on a credit blacklist in China and had to stay abroad. They were both in poor health, and their medical bills were enormous. Without Ethan, where was she going to get that kind of money? Impossible. What about Julie? Isn't she the VP? How did she handle this? How could she let the company fall apart like this? Hearing my name only made Ethan angrier. He pulled the drawers all the way out of the vanity and smashed them on the floor. You still have the nerve to talk about her? You're the one who got her killed. It was all you, you bitch, clinging to me and not letting me go back. Julie died all alone in her apartment. I can't imagine how hopeless and scared she must have been. Ethan lunged at Mandy again. This time, his fist connected with her nose, and blood gushed out. She screamed and covered her face. Julie's dead? You're the one who refused to go back that day. How can you blame me? Shut up. I told you to shut up. Ethan punched her in the face a few more times. Mandy shrieked and tried to get away, but he grabbed her by the neck and dragged her back toward the vanity. The jewelry I bought you over the past 2 years. The diamonds, the watches, the necklaces, the gems. Where did they all go? Watching them tear at each other, the system clapped with glee. See? That's men for you. The one that got away. The one burned in your heart. It's all meaningless when money is involved. A large chunk of Mandy's hair had been ripped out. Her clothes were torn, and her face was covered in blood. I felt a mix of emotions watching them. To be honest, I hated her, but seeing Ethan beat her so savagely, I couldn't help but remember the things he used to say. He used to say that, in his heart, love would always be more important than money. The whole point of making money, he said, was to provide a comfortable life for the people he cared about. That's why whenever I haggled to save a few dollars, Ethan would stand beside me, looking down, clearly uncomfortable. On the way back from the market, he would complain. Julie, this isn't like you at all. It feels so embarrassing. Can we not do that anymore? Are we really that desperate for a few bucks? Fundamentally, Ethan and Mandy were the same kind of people. They were arrogant and condescending, looking down on ordinary people struggling in the real world. At a word from Mandy, Ethan would spend a fortune on her, even when their relationship was nothing more than friends. But now here they were, pulling each other's hair and scratching each other's faces, brawling like a couple of shrews. All the halos had vanished. All I saw was a hypocrite, and it made me sick. Mandy's screams and the commotion finally prompted a neighbor to call the police. When they arrived, Mandy was on the floor, trembling and crying hysterically. Ethan, the company went bankrupt, but you can't take it out on me. We're friends. I was just trying to comfort you. How could you do this to me? Mandy already looked frail, and now beaten and bloody. She was a truly pathetic sight. The police immediately handcuffed Ethan and took them both to the station for questioning. The story was simple. The famous Mr. Chun, on the verge of bankruptcy, had lost his mind and tried to get money from his sugar baby, and they got into a fight over it. Ethan was detained for 10 days. During those 10 days, he had no contact with the outside world, except for court officials who came to have him sign stack after stack of documents. As he signed, Ethan's hand never stopped shaking. He knew he was completely finished. He couldn't understand how it had come to this. Just a few weeks ago, he was taking Mandy on a shopping spree at a luxury boutique. Joe had told him the company had just signed several major deals. Everything was looking up. How did it all fall apart so suddenly? Where did it all go wrong? Ethan couldn't figure it out. 10 days later, he was released, still wearing the clothes he'd been arrested in. His suit jacket was a wrinkled mess, like a rag. Ethan took it off, tossed it on the ground, and pulled out his phone to call a cab back to the office downtown. But when he opened the app, he found his payment accounts were frozen. He had no choice but to walk back to the office. After 2 full hours of walking, he finally found a driver willing to give him a ride. The driver was a friendly guy and chatted with him about the big news. You hear about Yenhua Group? They went bankrupt. The VP died and the CEO, Ethan Chun, is nowhere to be found. Probably hiding somewhere in shame. It just goes to show, a man who lets his dick do the thinking is bound to fail. That company was built by the VP, Ms. Jiang, but he went and got her killed over some other woman. They say the whole SEC investigation into Yenhua Group started because of that other woman, the one named Mandy. She was showing off online, posting pictures of all her jewelry and designer bags. And she even posted the receipts, with the Yenhua Group company seal on them. I mean, what kind of boss expenses his mistress's jewelry to the company? That got people's attention, and a ton of people reported her. Ethan started to tremble. He hugged his knees and curled into a ball of misery. It was Mandy. It was all because of Mandy. The car pulled up in front of the office building. The once bustling tower was now sealed off and deserted. Ethan stood there, stunned, staring at the huge characters on the entrance. Yenhua Group. Ethan Chun, Julie Jiang. The day the company bought the building, Ethan was ecstatic. He'd picked me up and spun me around and around in the plaza out front. Julie, this is amazing. We've finally made it in this city. I'm so happy. What do you want? I'll buy you anything you want, okay? I held out my hand and wiggled my ring finger. You've always known what I want. Ethan paused, the smile slowly fading from his face. After a moment of silence, he took my hand and kissed my fingers reverently. A man should be the one to ask. Come on, I'll take you to buy a ring. While we were browsing in the jewelry store, I heard a surprised voice call out from behind us. Ethan. I turned and saw Mandy's face. I knew then that I would never have that wedding. Ethan fell to his knees on the pavement, covered his face, and began to sob. I'm sorry, Julie. I was blind. I was possessed. How could I have been so obsessed with someone like that? You were so good to me. Julie, I'm so sorry. Lost in his grief, Ethan suddenly felt a tap on his shoulder. Mr. Chun? Is that really you? Where have you been all this time? You just vanished and left the company's affairs in a mess. It was Joe, holding a huge bag of documents and glaring at Ethan. And Ms. Zhang's funeral. She had no other family, so a charity she used to donate to handled the arrangements. Where the hell have you been? Funeral? Ethan stared blankly at Joe. Where did they bury her? Take me to see her. Southside Cemetery. Go by yourself. I'm busy. I have to get these documents to the court. Joe waved his hand dismissively. With the company bankrupt, the employees hadn't been paid for 2 months. Ethan had disappeared like a coward, and everyone secretly hated him for it. They all said that if Ms. Jiang were still alive, things would never have gotten this chaotic. Okay, I need to go see her. Ethan started walking away, dejected, but turned back after a few steps. Joe, can you lend me some money? I don't even have enough for bus fare. I don't have any money either. Joe's eyes widened. He clutched his bag of documents and hurried away. Ethan looked at his empty pockets, gave a bitter laugh, and sat down right where he was. The world was a vast place, but it felt like there was no room in it for him anymore. Over the next few days he wandered around trying to borrow money, but everyone avoided him like the plague. Some even took the opportunity to humiliate him. Look, isn't that the famous Mr. Chun? Hey Mr. Chun, look over here. Give us a smile. If you smile pretty, I'll give you $200. Ethan covered his face and fled in panic. His home had been seized. Penniless, he could only wander the streets, sleeping in subway entrances and under bridges at night. He tried to find a job, but he was on the credit blacklist. No legitimate employer would hire him. The only work he could get was manual labor on a construction site. One day, Ethan was sitting on a pedestrian overpass, staring blankly into space, when a kind person took pity on him and gave him $10. Ethan took the $10 to a nearby market to buy some buns. The city was expensive. Ethan tried to haggle, asking the vendor to give him a little extra for his money. Get lost. If you can't afford it, don't eat. The vendor shooed him away. Ethan stood there, mortified, remembering how I used to haggle at the market just to save a few bucks. Clutching the $10 bill, Ethan broke down and wept. Passers-by stopped to watch, murmuring curiously. Kids these days are so lazy. Perfectly able-bodied, but they'd rather beg than work. Yeah, what a waste. Doesn't act like a man at all. Mandy, come over here. That beggar is filthy. Ethan froze. He turned his head in disbelief. In the crowd, Mandy was leaning against a portly middle-aged man. She was holding a plastic bag full of groceries, and the man's hand, adorned with a large gold ring, was resting on her waist. Ethan charged forward like a madman and grabbed Mandy by the throat. Mandy, you ruined me, and you have the nerve to show your face. Go to hell with me. The man next to Mandy desperately tried to pull Ethan off. Hey, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Somebody help. Having starved for days, Ethan was no match for the man. He was beaten and kicked until he passed out on the ground. I felt a little uneasy. Why is Mandy's life still so good? Her jewelry was company property. Didn't she have to turn it all over? The system replied. She had her own private stash. Ethan gave her plenty of cash over the past 2 years. I know you want to see her get what she deserves, but in reality, cold, selfish women like her always know how to keep a way out for themselves. They rarely end up too miserable. It's the love-struck fools like you who get screwed for life. I wasn't having it. So what? This is a story. Give her some damn karma. The system said. I suppose that's not out of the question. Just as it said that, Ethan, lying on the ground, suddenly shot his eyes open and sprang to his feet. Mandy, go to hell. He snatched a boning knife from a nearby butcher's stall and plunged it into Mandy's back. Ethan began to laugh maniacally. You killed Julie. I've avenged you. Julie. I was standing right beside him. I gave him a small smile. It was as if he could see me. Julie. Ethan dropped the knife and reached out a trembling hand. He touched only empty air. Just like his future. The end.